All right, I think we should be good to go here for the Season 7 off-season live stream. Hopefully we don't have any errors throughout this one where it shuts off. There we go. Audio is working. Everything's good to go. Season 7 off-season, we're coming off of a really good season where we went 11-3, but unfortunately our season ended at the hands of the Georgia Bulldogs, and they're also in the national championship. If you guys are joining a little bit late because I started 30 minutes earlier than I said I was going to start, no problem. Just you'll catch up with me, or you can fast forward, whatever you guys decide to do. If you miss anything, you can always go back and watch it. That's why I like doing these live streams, because I don't leave anything out. But looking at our schedule here in Season 6, it opened with a win against a ranked Maryland opponent and then a ranked UTEP opponent, which was considered the game of the week, and we blew them out 44-10. Then we beat Air Force, and it looked like we were on a roll and nobody could stop us. And then we met Tulane, and our offense was atrocious in that game. We really struggled to move the ball downfield passing. We struggled on third downs, and we threw 2 interceptions. And this was the final start for freshman quarterback Stephen Beebe. He went 13 for 25 passing with 2 interceptions. And that was also the first week we saw Jeremiah Tobias return to action. It was the following week that we saw Jeremiah Tobias make his first start of the season, and the offense was off to a hot start again. 459 yards, we ran the ball well, and we passed the ball even better. And when you look at that game that Tobias had, 20 for 29 passing, 321 yards, and 3 total touchdowns. With his legs, he also had 22 yards. After that, we did rattle off multiple wins in a row against BYU, Arizona State, Boise State, Utah, and then we met Notre Dame and lost that game 24-21. What's up, Loco? Back here with the second live stream of the series. I'd like to do one in the regular season as well. Maybe like the third and fourth games of the season, we could go ahead and do a live stream. But in this game against, I'm going to miss them too, but I think we got some guys coming up. Both should have redshirted in Tobin and Beebe, and I think we're going to see a really good battle there. And I think we'll have 2 solid options. Against Notre Dame, I think we outplayed them the entire time. I think at the end of the day, we struggled in the first half, and that's really what hurt us in this game. We turned the ball over. We also were stuffed at the goal line at one point in this game. And Jeremiah Tobias had a decent game overall. Xavier Blunt, 90 yards on the ground. But that was our second loss of the season. Yeah, I'm hoping that he gets drafted, because I have some coach points to spend, and I'm interested in potentially going down the motivation skill tree or motivator and seeing if I can't upgrade something so that if Tobias does get drafted, our quarterbacks get a boost. We'll look at that in a second, though. Then we beat Memphis and Washington State in 2 games that were tougher than they probably should have been. That allowed us to go to the conference championship game where we were able to beat Arizona. And then, unfortunately, on Christmas Day, we lose to Georgia in what I consider the best game of the entire series. I mean, when you look at the performance out of Jeremiah Tobias through the injuries that he was dealing with, you can't come up with a better performance than this right here. 294 yards passing. He had an interception, but that was to close the first half. It was pretty much a pointless interception to throw. And then running the ball, I mean, he only ran for 12 yards, but Blunt and Lehman both ran very effectively. We didn't use Daniel Jones as much as we probably should have. As a change of pace back, I expect to see more of him in the next season. But Tyler Sexton and Gabe Shudak, 2 seniors, also went out with a bang and played some of their best football. A lot of guys are going to blame BJ Garrison. A lot of people in the comments, potentially, a lot of viewers may blame BJ Garrison. With 2 dropped interceptions in that game, you could point to that and say that's why we lost. But Georgia also had a kick returner in Marquis Shotwell, who took 199 yards to the house. And then we also could not stop Thomas Doss, who had 8 catches for 121 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that's where we're at now. It's an Oregon versus Georgia national championship game. We're going to simulate that here in a second. I want to look at the coach skill tree and see where we could potentially get better. But before we do that, I want to go through and show you the players that we could be moving on from and who we're certainly going to be moving on from. First guy is Jeremiah Tobias. He's been here for 5 years. He's been a 4-year starter, although it took him a while in his redshirt freshman season and this season to finally get the starts, but he overall finished the season as the starter. I mean, he is as good as you can get as a quarterback, and especially being a field general archetype, he was really good with his legs as well. Looking at his stats on his career, this was by far his best season. Didn't throw as many attempts. Like I said, he played in, 4 fewer games, but he had 16 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions, which isn't nearly his best touchdown to interception ratio, but in a full season of starting, it pretty much is. He was really, really good for us throughout his entire career. He played in, 40 or more games here? Just an excellent career for Jeremiah Tobias. John Burton will also be graduating here. I don't really have much to say about him other than he did come in at times in his career and played pretty well. The 2-star platinum field general, so he definitely added to this roster when we needed him. We are going to be moving on from Thomas Yates, who never really got a strong chance to ever be a starting running back in this system, but he did have a couple of moments this year where he had a 79-yard touchdown run against Arizona State, and he also had a 13-yard carry against Utah. He only played in 3 games this season. I was excited about him when we brought him in, but he never really amounted to anything we kind of wanted him to be. Tyler Sexton is the lone receiver that will be graduating here, and I think he had an excellent career overall. His best year was obviously last season, where he had 52 catches for over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns, but he had a really solid season this time. 38 receptions, 649 yards, and 5 touchdowns. I think overall, there's not really many complaints that I could give. He had big games, and then he had games where he did nothing. For example, the Arizona game, 0 catches. But against Georgia and against Utah, he went off. Other than that, he was a pretty consistent, about 2 to 3 receptions per game type of receiver. But he was an excellent blocker downfield, and that's probably what I'm going to miss the most about Tyler Sexton. Tight ends, of course, Gabe Shudak we're going to be moving on from, and that sucks because Shudak, a 4-year starter for us, had his best season by far this year. Over 1,000 yards receiving, 89 catches, 8 touchdowns. I mean, it was an incredible season. Arizona game, he was pretty much useless. But other than that, every other game throughout the season, he was an impact player. You knew he was going to be getting the ball. And 7 catches against Georgia, 8 against Notre Dame, 9 here against BYU. He had 11 against Air Force, 9 against Maryland. I mean, this guy was a stud in this offense. I do want Darrell Ferguson to potentially be that type of player next year for us. Pierre Lambeau, he'll also be graduating as well. It is Zach Qualls' time, and I am excited about Zach Qualls. We can talk about him here. I think he's going to replace Tyler Sexton in that role. He's also a really good downfield threat, or at least he was this season for us. Had 12 catches, 369 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And he came up with a lot of big catches. 95 yards against Washington State, and it took a while for him to really get on the field. Devontae Haslam was out there in the slot. I even think Zach Qualls could potentially play in the slot if Devontae Haslam doesn't get any better catching in the offseason, but with his skill caps, it doesn't look like that's going to be possible. So there is a chance that Zach Qualls could play in the slot. Tyquan Garrett for sure will be starting out one of those positions out there, and then Zach Truin's another guy that I have in mind as a deep threat receiver. On the offensive line, we're moving on from senior Angel LeMay. I'm pretty sure we brought him in the transfer portal, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he was at BYU in 2025, and then he transferred to Air Force and said, screw it, I want to join the military. And it said, no, I don't want to do that. And then he came over to us and gave up 12 sacks in his career. As rain is starting to come down outside, doesn't really look like it's going to rain for too long, so if it gets loud, I do apologize. John Yolito was a polarizing guard for me. We brought him in as a 3-star gem, and he started for, I do believe, 4 years. If we go to the general here, he started for 2 years. So he started his senior and junior year, but I actually benched him in the playoff game against Georgia because he was holding a lot, and I do find that a little frustrating. I don't want somebody out there that's holding a bunch, and we ended up allowing Ben Kendricks to start that game the rest of the way. He's also a senior, so we'll be moving on from him. Alex Tuttle may be one of those players that declares early. We'll talk about those guys in a second. Steve Giraldo's another one of those guys. Ben Kendricks we talked about, we'll be moving on from. And then Tevin Apple, It's finally going to be Demarius Ahmad time. He was a 4-star gem prospect, and he's finally get elite development, by the way. He's finally going to get his opportunity to show what he can do. Tevin Apple, he was also a transfer player, I do believe. We brought him over from SMU, and he only gave up 10 sacks in 3 years as a starter. Juan Lima definitely could be somebody who declares early, so we'll just have to keep an eye on that. Sateki Luvu could potentially declare early. I'm not sure if he will, but he could. Defensively, we're going to be moving on from Bobby KZ and Imani Awesome, Matt Bowie, and Steven Langster. These are 4 of our 4 defensive tackles that we really played every single year. We have some help on the way, true freshman help on the way, but we are moving on from 4 really good, solid defensive tackles. Bobby KZ was a part of that first recruiting class, and he totaled 9 sacks in his career. And then throughout his career, I think he started for 3 seasons. His first year, he didn't start. And then the last guy, Imani Awesome. Bowie and Langster were both transfer guys, I do believe. Bowie came over to us from Kentucky. So Matt Bowie came from Kentucky. And then let's see, where did Steven Langster come from? Because I hate when it does that. When you're trying to click on somebody else and it just goes back up to the top guy. Let's go to Steven Langster. What kept him off the field, I believe, is because he was a speed rusher. And his strength honestly got up there to 88, which isn't bad, but I like my guys to be in the 90s. He transferred over from Cal. He actually produced a little bit more with Cal. And then Imani Awesome was a part of our second draft class and our first 4-star of the series, I do believe. And he had himself a really good career. What is that? 8 plus 11.5, 19 career sacks for Imani Awesome. Put together a really solid career. Sean Meeks is a senior. He was a JUCO player that we brought in, so we'll be moving on from him. I think BJ Garrison still has a chance to start next year. Alex Cheeseman or Christian Stuckey will probably be the starting middle linebacker next season. And then Braden Pope is the guy that I'm really going to miss on this team. Been a captain since like his sophomore year. He developed really well in this series. The jump that he made from his freshman season to his sophomore season was a really, really good one. He had 1 total interception. He totaled well over 300 tackles in his career, well over 40 tackles for loss, and then about 10 sacks. 9.5, I think, is what that should be. 8. Yeah, 9.5 career sacks. Corners, we're going to be moving on from Eric Drake, and he had the best year of his career this season back at corner. If you remember, he started out in the slot. We moved him back to safety where he had 4 interceptions. Then we moved him back to corner, not as a slot corner, but as just a boundary corner. And he came away with 7 interceptions in a really, really good year. He was a shutdown corner for us pretty much all season. We'll definitely miss him. Andres Sosa, maybe one of those players that declares early. And then Cordell Lawson will be moving on from, and he's the last guy that we'll talk about. He was not bad, but not great. He was a solid safety for us overall. 5 interceptions. He won the Best Defensive Back Award, which I'm not even sure pops up, which is stupid. Why do they have this tab if it doesn't pop up? But 5 interceptions this last year, and he had moments, but as a tackler, he really frustrated me. Like I said, I think guys like Andres Sosa could potentially declare early. Miguel Catapano could definitely declare early. And then at linebacker, I really don't see anybody. We already talked about the possibility of Juan Lima. And then Steve Giraldo, potentially. Alex Tuttle, potentially. And then I would say that's probably it as far as early declares go. I really wouldn't worry about anybody else. So with that being said, we do have some coach skills that we can upgrade here. I think I wanted to go in the direction of Motivator because here at Master Motivator, you can... I thought it was here, but maybe I'm... Yeah, I thought it was here in the Master Motivator here. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's in... Is it in Talent? No, it's not in Talent Developer. Maybe it's in Recruiter. Do you guys know where it's potentially at here? I thought there was one where it was like drafted quarterbacks. Oh, yeah, right here. Bonus XP for quarterbacks that are drafted in the top 3 rounds. So that's what I'm looking for at first. So, okay, maybe, I don't know. What direction should we go in here with these coach skill points? I really don't know where to go. I think I'm good with recruiter. We're bringing in good enough recruiting classes, in my opinion. I don't necessarily think there's a reason to go into elite recruiter. Well, we can't anyway. Tactician, I mean, you could go in on there, but I'm not really, too intrigued with tactician. And that's really the reason that I haven't gone into it to begin with. Motivator is probably the one I want to go into here. I just don't know exactly what I want to go into. I think it would be beneficial to go with one where we know a player is going to be drafted in the top 3 rounds. I definitely think there's a possibility for an offensive lineman to be drafted in the top 3 rounds. So we'll go 5 there. This may be dumb. I may be screwing this one up right here. I do believe there's a chance Miguel Catapano goes pro, so let's go there. And then, is there a chance that like Juan Lima goes pro? There definitely is a chance. And we'll save these last 5. We'll go ahead and save these last. Nope, I'm going to go 5 right here. Okay, so we are saving our last 5. But that's what I'm going to do there. We'll save the other 5. We'll go into motivator and see if, because players are drafted, what could potentially happen. So I'm ready to advance to the next week. I already went over career stats and season stats in the previous episode in that game against Georgia. So if you guys want to check that out, go back to that video, go to the end of it. You can see career stats and season stats. Pro potential goes up to A, which would indicate we got some players potentially leaving. Coach prestige is at A- now. So we're moving up in the world here. A 4-star team. Looks like we're going to finish the season ranked 10th. And Oregon comes away with the national championship victory, 28-24, where they scored 21 second half points. They were losing 24-7 at halftime. And then went on a 21-0 run in the second half to win it all. Georgia ran the ball really well. Oregon did struggle a little bit. Doug Love had another really good performance. Roland Barmore with 96 yards. Rasheem Boger with only 10. Devontae Whiteside, 96 yards. And then Thomas Doss had a touchdown. Man, what a game this looked like it would have been. Oregon, a team that we didn't play this year, but Zach Walker probably deserving the MVP here with 4 touchdowns. John Carver with 70 yards on the ground for them. And then Matt Burrow, he's probably the guy that got MVP then. 6 catches, 196 yards, and 3 touchdowns. An excellent performance there. And then defensively, they had Leo Hawkins with 2 sacks and Kyle Vaughn with a sack. Dakota Atwood was the guy who got the interception. But Oregon is your 2029 national champs. Hopefully we can be declared national champs next season. But no more to do here. No more staff moves to look at. I'm not going to upgrade those skill points yet. And I think what I'll go ahead and... Well, let's look at motivator real quick one more time. If we... Yeah, I mean, I think we could do the wide receiver / tight ends, get an off-season training boost potentially. Or maybe we go DBs instead. That might be what's more beneficial. Linebackers maybe. We'll have to see. I just want to make sure that we're able to get good progression. I think we might get some skill points before then, but I'm not really sure. So we'll advance to the end of the season. Got my Starbucks here. All right. We can look at players leaving. This is very big right here. I'm suspecting we're going to have a couple of guys get, try and declare early. I'm hoping I see Jeremiah Tobias on there as a guy that's projected to get drafted. Starbucks is amazing. It is. Right now, I like their coffee drinks more, like their cold brews more, but I have a chai latte right now. Pink drink. I actually never had the pink drink. To be honest with you, I've never had the pink drink. I don't know really why. Sometimes I don't want coffee, so maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to switch it up every now and then. All right, let's take a look at players leaving here. All right, Jeremiah Tobias projected a 5th round selection. That's really cool to see. Cordell Lawson projected to go in the 6th round. And other than that, we have nobody declaring early. So that is pretty interesting to see that we're going to have a lot of guys come back. And what it really sounds like to me is you have those instances where, like Michigan did it a couple of years ago, where they lost a heartbreaking game, and they had a lot of players say, you know what, we're coming back next season because we're going to run it back. We're going to win it all next year. And that's what it feels like players on this team are deciding to do. Jeremiah Tobias gets drafted. Cordell Lawson getting drafted as well. So 2 guys. There's also a chance somebody could go in the 7th round. But that's really cool to see. We could see... There was a couple of teams that I wanted to check on here. By the way, Mike Lemonier is a national champion with the Oregon Ducks. I'm trying to think of who I was thinking about, but I honestly can't remember. There was a team that I wanted to look at to see where their players are going. You see Georgia here. Quite a few players want to go pro. We talked about Larry Boutte. I said he was going to be every bit of a first-round selection. That is the case. Roland Barmore, 7th-round selection. DeMarco Foster, even a first-round selection. Yeah, I honestly cannot remember what team. Oh, Penn State. Penn State was the team that I wanted to look at here. Brendan Sensabaugh is declaring. That's who I wanted to look at because we tried to recruit him and we were so close to getting him, and he chose Penn State at the last second. He is declaring early, and he's a projected first-round selection. No surprise there. I just wanted to look at that because I was interested to see if he would declare early. So we'll advance here. We'll see who got drafted on our team other than the 2 that we know of, as we are able to bring in Isaac Rivas, an outside linebacker. Ish Tabor looks like he's going to go to Clemson, but we do bring in a 3-star gem. So that's really good to see. And we're that close to getting some more skill points. Doesn't look like it's going to happen, though. All right, let's take a look at the draft results here. Jeremiah Tobias goes 4th round. Cordell Lawson goes 4th round as well. Tevin Apple in the 6th round. Eric Drake in the 6th round. And Bobby KZ, a 7th round selection, as 5 guys go pro from this roster. Tobias getting drafted even higher than he was expected to. And it's same thing with Cordell Lawson, was projected in the 6th round. They must love his coverage ability. If he gets better as a tackler, he could be really good in the future. And we're able to get Tevin Apple drafted as well, along with Eric Drake, which I think is deserving, and Bobby KZ. This is excellent right here. Where did Tobias go in the NFL? He went 4th round. At this point in the Dynasty, I couldn't tell you in 2029 who is struggling in an NFL or who may be looking for a middle round quarterback. Let's just say he gets drafted by the Cowboys to be a backup. I'll take that. I'll take that. He goes to the Cowboys to be a backup quarterback. Maybe it could be the replacement for a guy like Dak Prescott potentially. Really cool stuff to see, though, that Jeremiah Tobias goes in the 4th round. I think that the performance that he showed against Georgia definitely moved him up a little bit. And then Brendan Sensabaugh does go in the 1st round. As expected, I would say. If you guys remember back in the series when we tried to recruit this kid, I wish we would have been able to get him, but it would have spelled trouble for Jeremiah Tobias, so I'm not going to complain. And I am curious at this point if guys like Jeremiah Tobias are now off the roster. They're not, so I'm trying to figure out what we could potentially look for in the transfer portal. I think running back, I'm not really too concerned with looking at. We're going to have 3 key contributors. Receiver, I'm not really too intrigued with. I think tight end for sure. Darrell Ferkser, I think, could definitely replace Gabe Shudak or the Dolphins quarterback. Yeah, that's true, especially with the fact that Tua just can never stay healthy. But yeah, Shudak gone. Ferkser, I think, can fill in that spot, but it wouldn't hurt to look for another tight end potentially. Offensive line, we have some recruits coming in here, but it also wouldn't really hurt to look at somebody on the offensive line. So maybe a tackle or a guard if they're available in the portal. Defensive line. Nothing to really look at there because all these guys are coming back. D-tackle, of course, we're going to be looking at potentially bringing some guys in. At linebacker, I think B.J. Garrison, we're good there. I think we're probably good there at linebacker. Corner, seeing the fact that Miguel Catapano is coming back. And then Mike Perkins, I think, is somebody that I'm really excited about to stay in the slot. It's just now who starts as that second corner position. Could it be Iwuchukwu? Could it be Matt Gage? Or could it be somebody we find in the portal potentially? At safety, nothing to do there. And then strong safety, I really don't think there's anything to do as well. So we can look at the transfer portal here. We'll see who is... Actually, we can also go through here as well and look at the remainder of the development traits on guys that we didn't already look at. So Isaac, okay, we can't see this until National Signing Day. So I thought we could go through and look at development trait. Not yet, so we'll have to wait a little bit. But we do have the number one guy in the portal, John Winter. Really interested in coming here, along with the second in Sean Dawsey. I mean, that's pretty crazy right there. The number one and number two transfer portal targets are interested in coming here. Definitely adding those guys to the board. There's no reason not to. As far as tight ends, are there any tight ends that are interested? There are two. Not really sure if... I mean, we'll scout them, but I'm not really sure. I'm not sure about these guys. And then, are there any offensive tackles that could potentially be interested? Doesn't look like it. There is a guard, though, like we talked about in John Winter. These guys right here, I'm not too intrigued with, I don't think. We'll add them to the board, though. We have plenty of space. Defensive tackles, there are some. Okay, so I was wondering, are we going to see any defensive tackles in here? I'm looking for run stoppers or power rushers. And we'll see if we can't find one that, you know, some guys that got really good strength. And then, are there any corners? Okay, we got some corners to look at as well. I think what I'll probably do, we'll have to remove some guys here in a second. We still got Alex Kamea and Max Wolfert that we're recruiting. We'll go ahead and scout these guys right here. John Winter is the number one transfer portal guy. Oh my gosh. I want this guy. I want this guy bad. It's the 99 strength. The 92 lead block. I mean, this guy right here. He'd be an instant starter for us. An instant starter. Yeah, give him the bag. Like, let's give him all the money that we have in NIL. John Winter's got to be ours, but Oregon is going to be a team we're competing with, and you know how that usually works. How about Sean Dawsey, the number two guy? He has good zone coverage ability here, known as a pass rusher, though. 85 speed, 86 power moves. I wouldn't be, against bringing a guy like Sean Dawsey in here. We'll offer him a scholarship, and I don't really see a reason not to bring him in here. Never hurts to have pass rushing depth as well. And seeing his coverage ability, he could also be a, coverage linebacker as well. He doesn't have to be a pass rusher. Paul Bighill, not really sure what I'm looking at here with these tight end transfers. The catching at 80 isn't really that bad. 75 short, 86 speed. He's honestly not that bad, I don't think. We could offer him a scholarship and put 50 on him and just kind of see where that goes. Brian Etienne is a possession guy. 83 catching, 80 excel. I'm gonna probably back out of this one here. Mac Barnes, 88 strength. We'll take him off of the... These are freshman guys as well, so let's take him off for now. Not really interested for now. Major Mole, crazy name, 85 strength. I'm going to go ahead and back out of that one. Johnny Sandy, 84 strength. I know I'm picky with the strength, but you just can't have guys with 84 strength. They're going to get better, of course. This is more so what I would like to see in Gary Russo. We'll go ahead and offer him a scholarship as well. Moses Hester, another run stopper, 90 strength. I like that. So I'm very gladly give you a scholarship when you have 90 strength. And unfortunately, I feel like we're going to probably bring in too big of a class. And then here with corners, 94 speed looks really good. He's a zone coverage guy. Derek Jameson, 90 speed. You also got to remember these guys won't develop in the offseason as well, which is unfortunate. We run a lot more zone than we do man, I would say. Derek Jameson, I'm going to go ahead and 5'9", 166. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and back out of that right there. I know it's a video game and size really doesn't matter all that much in a video game, but I'm going to back out of that. So we're going after 6 transfer portal guys. We'll see how things play out with them. Got a little battle here for Kamea. It might be beneficial to go ahead and get him on a visit. Or no, let's do a week 1 visit. And then we'll go ahead and put 65 hours on him. And then Wolfert, I say we go week 2 visit. And we'll go ahead with pro potential. Gotta like that now. Remember, a couple of years ago in this series, we were struggling with pro potential. Thought we were going to lose guys like Juan Lima. All right, that's what we're doing right here. I mean, not a whole lot to talk about. I mean, maybe if we bring in these 4 stars, we could move up to a top 5 class. I'm not going to, bank on it, though. Yeah, we have 275 hours left, so we could kind of max out some of these if we want. Like Paul Bighill, I guess we can go ahead and put 25 hours on him. Max it out. And that's it. Yeah. So we have 250 hours left over, but we're already getting to the point where we have too many guys we're going after, so I'm not going to go out there and try and recruit more guys. All right, so we can go ahead and advance to the next week then. What is this? Master Motivator unlocked. That's good to see. We're now a Master Motivator. I wish we would get some points to spend, but that's not going to happen here. All right, let's go back and look. We got Kamea about to commit. Wolfert has got a visit coming up soon, so we should be able to bring him in, hopefully. And then looking at John Winter. That is perfect. That's exactly what you want to see. Let's bring him in on a visit as well. Championship contender. He wants to play for a championship. He said, I like Utah. I like playing with the Utes, but I want to play for a championship. Let's bring him in. Sean Dawsey looks like he's favoring Oregon at the moment. I think he's probably going to go to Oregon. We could try and go on there and hard sell here. It'd have to be a combination of some that we already know are red. We'd also have to schedule him for a visit. Maybe he wants pro potential as well. We'll schedule a visit now in hopes that because we scheduled that visit, we have a chance. But I can't hard sell until I at least know some of the information as far as what his motivations are. So we're going to keep that the way it is right now. Paul Bighill, first place. Gary Russo, also first place. Moses Hester and Matt Soliday. Should we try and bring these guys on visits? I mean, I don't think it's a bad option. Paul Bighill will bring in. He wants to compete for a championship as well. Gary Russo, can't bring him in on a visit yet. We can Moses Hester, though. He wants conference prestige. That's an interesting motivation to have. And then Matt Soliday, we can't bring him in on a visit quite yet. So we'll go ahead and advance again. I know that actually, real quick, I know there are instances where some transfer portal guys become, you can target them after week 1. And I guess we really never looked at these top players as well. So looking at guys from like the conference here. So you had the 2 from Utah, obviously. And then moving down the board, another from Utah and Darren Urbick. He'd be a nice guy to bring in. Unfortunately, we don't have a chance. Washington State has Jose Romero. Not really sure why he is leaving. Utah, another one. Matt Harris. They're just losing their entire offensive line. Arkansas is going to have a defensive end moving on. I want to play Arkansas this season. Arizona has their tight end, Akbar, moving on. So he was somebody that played really well against us. Notre Dame has Bruce McDaniels. All right. So I think we can go ahead and exit recruiting now. We'll advance another week. I don't know, honestly, how long this live stream is going to be. Right now, we're 36 minutes in. If we go back to Motivator here, I was curious, are there any? No. So what I was going to see is, are there any that we have 2 out of 4, and then we can try and get that off-season training boost? Unfortunately, we don't have that, though. All right, we'll advance to week 3 of recruiting now. Alex Comea from Frisco, Texas commits. Paul Bighill, 2-star tight end from Fort Lauderdale, commits. So, 2 new guys, and then you see Sean Dawsey goes to Oregon. Honestly, don't know where he would have played had we been able to bring him in, so it is what it is at the end of the day. We're super close to bringing in John Winter, though, the number 1 player in the transfer portal. Couple of things with the transfer portal in the next game. I hope that they make it a little bit more dynamic where players' motivations change throughout their career. You know, when they start out, it should be playing time. But then as they get on in their career, juniors and seniors, maybe now their number 1 motivation is championship contenders. Stuff like that. Also, I wish I could go through and encourage players to transfer before the transfer portal begins. There's no reason that I should encourage transfers afterwards and then risk that player not even joining a team. It's just really flawed. I think that there's a couple of things they can change. Other than that, I think recruiting is pretty solid. And I think, yeah, more players. Like, I'd like to see some of my players join the portal. We haven't really seen it. Maybe a couple of players that one year where we had Shelton Sampson, Gabe Shudak, Mike Lemonier. They all entered at the same time. We were able to bring back Shudak and Sampson, but Lemonier left and went to Oregon. Or no, he went to Boise State, then to Oregon. But yeah, I would like to see more players transfer. And I think they will address that. But we'll have to find out. All right. We see Max Wolfert. He did not really go up all that much with that visit. So can we hard sell him? I think that's probably the way to go here. The very last one. He wants to be a starter. He's looking for playing time. So we will go ahead and hard sell Max Wolfert. Yeah, I think they should. And like I agree. We brought in 3 guys. One of them was a 5-star, the other 2 were 4 stars, and all in one recruiting cycle. 2 of those guys will never have a chance to start. They'll be backups. But because their deal breaker will never really be affected, they're never going to want to transfer. I would go on there and encourage them to transfer, but then I risk them disappearing from the Dynasty, and I don't want to deal with that, so it's just frustrating. So, yeah, so I just keep them on roster, and then maybe they get an opportunity to play. And then, yeah, Eric Mayweather does have a lot of good information he brings to his channel. And I think that in the second year of this game being back out, you have to still address Dynasty. I hope that they don't do something stupid where they address Ultimate Team and kind of leave Dynasty untouched. They have to continue making it better. This was a very good foundation. Don't get me wrong. The start to this game, the foundation that they're working on is really good. I just think there's a lot to potentially build upon. Yeah, that would make sense if they do give him some insiders to report down to him. So John Winter, super close. Oregon's not even really being competitive in this battle. Paul Bighill, Gary Russo, Moses Hester, and Matt Soliday. Do we have a visit? Yeah, we do have a visit there. Russo we need to bring in on a visit. So we'll go there. And then Soliday will also bring in on a visit. I would hard sell for John Winter, but at that point, I don't really feel like there's a reason to. So we'll go ahead and... yeah, we'll hard sell here for Gary Russo. Yeah, I think it definitely should be. I think, like I said, the start to this game again has been really good. I've had a lot of fun with it. And I don't know if you guys were following my MLB The Show series at all. Actually, I'm not going to go hard sell there because I don't know if hard selling them something that's like D is going to affect them. If not, we have a lot of defensive tackles we're bringing in anyway, so I'm not really too concerned with it. Same with Soliday. I'm just going to stick the same there. Yeah, so I started that MLB The Show series, and I definitely want to continue making videos, but this has been my #1 priority, and I'm just so excited about this series. I also felt like when I started the Padres franchise, the views got a little weird for this series. So I want to try and at least finish 2 more seasons of this. And then if I just do college football series on this channel, then it is what it is. I would also like to do a Madden series. Ideally, I would do some kind of Madden series next year. We'll just have to see how it plays out. I've also kind of went back and forth on what team I want to rebuild in the next series. John Winter, the #1 transfer portal prospect, is coming to Utah State. It is an odd game. And yeah, the Braves are really good. And yeah, it is an odd game to try and get views for. And it's also an odd game to try and make content for and be able to have each episode tell a story while you're covering enough ground so that it doesn't take you super long to complete a season. I mean, there's 162 games in a season. You have to go at a pace where you're not taking super long, but you're also going slow enough that you can tell a story about what's going on with the team. And I've just struggled to be able to do that so far in the Padres franchise. And so it's a lot easier for something like a college football dynasty. I've also went back and forth on what team I want to rebuild next year. I'm thinking about Temple now. So I was thinking about Delaware. They're going to be a new team in the FBS next year. But then I was also thinking about Temple. They play at the Eagle Stadium. So they have the stadium size that, you know, you could look for in a potential ACC team. So we'll just have to see. There's a lot that could change. But we're bringing in some defensive tackle depth. The only guy we're still waiting on potentially is Matt Soliday. But other than that, recruiting is pretty much coming to an end here. Yeah, I got to get my my viewing hours up though. At one point, so I made one thing that I do want to do is I have made some like throwback game videos. So I made a Madden 07 video about a year and a half ago, maybe, or maybe it was this point. Yeah, about a year and a half ago. And it was a Madden 07 video, and it's the best video on my channel as far as views go. And I would like to get back into doing that. Like, I have Madden 04. I'd like to make a Madden 04 video, you know, just seeing how fun is Madden 04, because a lot of people think it's the funnest of all time because of Michael Vick in the game. So I think that would be really cool. I'd like to get NFL 2K5 and make a video on that. Yeah, I've done the MLB The Show franchises before, and they're hard. They're hard to do. I'm not even, compared to this, they're a lot harder in my opinion. You got to find, if you get the fan base right, you can definitely get people to watch it. But yeah, I got to get my view hours up. They spiked when I dropped that Madden 07 video, and I think that like these vintage games could definitely allow me to get those hours to go up. I would like to make some videos, like one-off videos like that. Series-based content is probably College Football 25, but like one-off videos, I think you could throw stuff like Madden 04 in there. Yeah, I do need to start doing some shorts as well. I've tried in the past, but I think that it's just something that I have to get back into doing. Yeah, 2K, 2K would be like the same thing. And then if anybody does like NHL content, I feel like NHL content or FIFA content would also be the same thing. Like just a lot of games in a season, and trying to find that, middle ground of how fast you should go is pretty challenging. So we're still waiting on two corners here. Max Wolfert out of high school, and then Matt Soliday, a freshman transfer. We've put in pretty much all that we can put in on these guys. Unless Max Wolfert. Yeah, we put in all we can put in. So we'll get to National Signing Day here. Yeah, I definitely want to keep so Max Wolfert, 4-star corner coming in. I definitely want to keep making videos. I'm not gonna stop making videos. I definitely want to keep it up. I mean, it's like my number one hobby as well. I do it more so as a hobby. I've always wanted to be able to just like find a way to capture every game that I've ever played. Because when I was younger and I'd play Dynasty mode, like I'd write down stats, and that way I could keep that stuff. And the reason I started my YouTube is because of that. Because I just wanted to be able to keep all the memories of past games that I played. And Matt Soliday. So we bring in two corners as well. The two positions that we need the most depth, corner and defensive tackle. I think that we've gotten that. We do get a level up. So that's really cool. So with coach skills here, I think we go back to motivator. What just happened? What in the world just happened? Yeah, I mean that yeah, that's why I wanted to do it, because I still remember some of the players' names from back when I would play like NCAA 13. I still remember some of their names. And then I picked Utah State because I just think the state of Utah is beautiful, and I don't know. I watched a old Jordan Love game on TV when I was visiting in Idaho. So I was in Idaho, and it was an old game that was on TV. It was right before the college football season. I was just like, you know what? Utah State's the team I'm going to do. I got back from that vacation, and I started this dynasty up. I don't know what just happened here. So I went into Motivator to try and upgrade it here. It said, hold the upgrade. I'm holding it. And it took all my points away from me. So 15 points down the drain. And I don't even know what it went into. What in the world just happened? That is just next level goofy right there. I have no idea what happened. National Signing Day. Looking at the top classes, we are going to fall out of that top 15 category. We dropped down to 19 with 26 total commits, 2 5-stars, 11 4-stars, 3 9-stars, 9 3-stars, and then 4 2-stars. That should allow us to at least be number one in the Pac-12. It is. Boise State with a really good class as well. And then teams like Washington State, Arizona State, and Memphis with some really, really bad classes. Arizona State did bring in Ian Badejo, though, so they got a 5-star. Yeah, and Utah State's become a team that I root for in real life now. Like their basketball team I was rooting for. So it's become a team that I really do like. And yeah, rest in peace, Kyron Lacey. I mean, I could go in on that and talk about that. My viewpoint obviously doesn't matter. I'm just I'm a nobody. And so, but at the end of the day, it's just sad. The situation overall is sad. I don't think that he was a bad guy at all. The situation circumstances that he found himself in, yeah, crappy situation, crappy, just a really bad way of acting that caused it. But I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that a lot of people that you interact with in your day-to-day life have done stupid stuff that could have gotten somebody hurt, and they're just lucky that they haven't. I don't think he was a bad guy. He made mistakes, and it just sucks that he felt that was the only option that he had was, I don't know how to say it on YouTube, but what happened with him. It's just really unfortunate. And I think that mental health is a serious thing. I think mental health is very serious, and I wish that more people would get the help that they really needed. It's really sad overall. That's the only way that I can look at it, is it's just really sad. Alex Comea is a impact development defensive tackle. Max Wolfert is a star development slot corner. We had guys like this before. Miguel Catapano was a star development slot corner. So I think we got another one here in the making. Hopefully the speed goes up a little bit. But Wolfert looks like he could be really solid. Isaac Rivas is an impact development run stopper. Nicholas Blau, impact development. Denard Komar is an impact development tight end. Rudy Pile is an impact development linebacker. And then here is impact John Winter. Sean Dawsey was elite. Unfortunately, we don't get him, though. Paul Bighill, normal. Gary Russo, normal. Moses Hester, impact. And then Matt Soliday, also impact. So that's the recruiting class. And then here's the guys that we didn't talk about, but we did cover them in a previous episode. Kugbila was star. Scott Flavors, elite. Eric Hunter was star. Don McClain, impact. Jaquez Granger, star. Carl Loudermilk, impact. Steve Ellis, elite. Lorenzo Grubb, normal. Eric Bars, impact. Larry Wooten, impact. Dominic Drugsma, Demke, AJ Berry, all impact. Fatu Bayless, star. And then DeMarco Pitts, a route running receiver in elite development. So that is National Signing Day there. I wish that these coach skill, the coach skill tree didn't get freaking screwed up, but it did. It is what it is. All right, first guys that we'll talk about here are the athletes. Let's go ahead and look at the athletes. We have 4 of them. The first guy we'll look at is Pele here. They say defensive end is where he would fare the best. He's an athlete, and I'd have to see what his pass rushing ratings are looking like. Or he could be, no, you can't put him at outside linebacker because these speed rusher archetypes at right and left outside linebacker, skill cap thing is screwed up. I don't know what causes it. So you'd have to put him at middle linebacker if you wanted to do that. Let's look at his ratings here. I think he's definitely a defensive player, though. So that's what we know for sure. Play rec at 58, tackling at 86. Here's his block shedding. As a pass rusher, 66 and 68. He's not a bad coverage linebacker, potentially. 57 press. I say for the moment, we put him at linebacker. That's what I would say for the moment. So we'll put him at middle linebacker for the moment. Next guy is Steve Ellis. 75 overall, 91 speed. So he could play running back. That's what he's listed as, a receiving back. His carrying is at 79. His catching 77, catching traffic 74. So he's definitely not a receiver. Let's see what he is potentially as a defensive player. Play rec 72, tackling 71. He looks like a really good pass rusher. Pursuit 73, man coverage So I'm curious. 78 man, 73 zone, 45 is his press. What is the press on our corners here? So it'd be really low. It would be really low, the press would. It's like more so like safety, if anything. So let me see what his overall at different positions would be. I think I want him to play defense though. Overall, Steve Ellis would be a 75 strong safety. He'd be a 74 slot corner. We have a lot of corners coming in, and that's the reason. I think Antoine Darby will definitely he may be a starter this year. I think Andres Sosa may move over to strong safety potentially. Looking at corner here, there's no guarantee that these guys really develop all that well. Eric Hunter, I think, we'll get to these guys in a second. Max Wolfert looks really good as well. So Steve Ellis, what does he look like as a tackler again? If his press was better, I would put him as a slot corner. I'm going to have him at strong safety, though. So Steve Ellis will play strong safety. Dalvin Kugbila, 92 strength. He's probably a guard or a center, but I am curious to see what he looks like as a defensive lineman, what his ratings would look like there. Here's his run block is an 83, his pass block 78. Play rec 76, tackle 87. I mean, he could play defensive tackle as well. (6'1", 303). He'll be an 81 overall tight end. Yeah, 303-pound tight end would be ridiculous. Let's go defensive tackle for Dalvin Kugbila. I think, or do we go offensive line? Let's look at the offensive line real quick. I think defensive tackle is where he could really be used. Roy Rush is, I'm going to say, probably not going to start because I just think his strength is too low. At 82, yeah, it's just too low. John Winter will probably start at left guard. Then we just got a quick peek at Scott Flavors overall, 80 overall. Holy cow! For now, I think I'm going to go with Kugbila as a defensive tackle. We could have two true freshmen starting at D tackle. And then Droogsma's the last guy, 88 speed. You see his carrying here, ball carrying vision. He's not a receiver. He looks like he's probably just a quarterback. So, Dominic Droogsma, he'll go ahead and play quarterback for us. That should be it for the athletes. But now we can look at guys' overalls here. Larry Wooten's a 75 overall. So we brought in two quarterbacks in this recruiting class. Droogsma's the second guy, 69 overall. He's more of a scrambler, though. So if we ever really want somebody who's, you know, he's got field general as well, which is actually pretty interesting. I didn't realize that he would have field general as a scrambler. Running backs, we only have 4 on roster. Yeah, only 4 running backs on roster is actually kind of... And 2 of them are seniors. Okay. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that unlocking Master Motivator took points. I thought you could just go right into it. Makes sense. That definitely makes more sense. Yeah, definitely gotta get some running backs here. Okay, so that makes sense. 15 points. You see, DeMarco Pitts 62 overall and Fatu Bayless 60. One thing that I was thinking about, we could look at our tight ends here. Okay, Carl Loudermilk might have been a hit. 79 speed with a blocking tight end might have just been a hit. It's going to take some time to develop him. We'll see. We'll still have to see what his skill caps are looking like. But, you know, with these blocking tight ends, you risk getting some blocking tight ends that are slow. Carl Loudermilk, 79 still slow, don't get me wrong. But it's not 73 slow. It's not, where's our other guy? Watford, but we moved him to fullback. You know, 73 slow. So Carl Loudermilk, I think that might have actually been a really good pickup for us. But what I was getting to is I was thinking about taking J.J. Gessner and moving him over to tight end. So I could move him to tight end potentially. He would be a 76 overall there. But my stipulation would be this. I would add weight to him. So I would add 30 pounds. So he'd be 6'5", 233. But for every 10 pounds that I add to him, I take 3 speed away from him. So he'd be an 83 speed instead of a 92 speed. Let me know what you guys think about doing that. I think it'd be really cool to give him an opportunity to see the field. So just let me know what you guys think about that. If you want to do that, we can. I'll move Gessner over to tight end. If not, no worries. We'll just keep him at receiver. I can't believe we still have Alex Linkenbach. He's been here for a while, it feels like. Which of these receivers have the best carrying? That's what I'm curious about here. Linkenbach 77. CJ Whiting has 74. Good idea. Okay, I think it obviously it gives him an opportunity to play as well. And then CJ Whiting, I'm actually going to move him to running back. I was thinking about Devontae Haslam for a second, but we'll go CJ Whiting. I just don't think there's a clear path for him to ever, you know, start at running back for us. I mean, start at receiver for us. One thing I'm hoping doesn't happen is I'm hoping he doesn't lose his ability to see skill caps and stuff like that, because I've seen that as well. We'll just have to see. But CJ Whiting, we'll move him over to running back, so we have 5 on roster. J.J. Gessner, we'll go ahead and move him over to tight end then. So let me make a note of that so I don't forget. So he'll go up 30 pounds, but he'll lose 9 of his speed. And he'll lose his speed. How should we do it? Should we take 9 off of his speed after he progresses? Or do minus speed and acceleration? So -2 from acceleration, 1 in speed, or however I want to do it. I think taking like 1. We'll go -9 speed, -3 acceleration. Because his acceleration isn't like... Right now it's at 84. For example, I mean, Darrell Ferkshire has 82 acceleration. Loudermilk, a blocking tight end, has 77. So it's not like it's super crazy or anything. Okay. Yeah, so we'll move him over to tight end, though. And then I'll just have to remember to do that. So now we don't have a jam-packed receiving room anymore. So I like the way it looks at the moment. A lot of young guys. We have 2 seniors in Linkenbach and Haslam. Now we have a lot of tight ends as well, though. So maybe Paul Bighill, a senior. Maybe what do you do with this guy? Yeah, he's gonna be a bigger guy. So Gessner, Eagles, and Loudermilk are your 4 that I'm really excited about here. Madison Penner and Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really blown away by these guys. Do I want I don't know if I want 4 fullbacks. I think that might be absurd. But Gainwell is a senior, so, and I changed the playbook up a little bit, so now I only have 2 I formation sets now. So not really a huge I formation. Obviously, some of these guys are clear cut candidates. I mean, we can see like Paul Bighill. He'd be a 70 overall fullback. Penner, 68 overall. I think I may have just over-recruited tight end. I think that's the situation we found ourselves in here. All right, so left tackle looks like it's going to, I don't know. This left tackle doesn't look great. We'll go Jacquez Granger. We'll move him to left tackle. Chad Turpin or Diego Warrior will more than likely be the starter there. Demarius Ahmad should be the starter at right tackle, though. John Winter is going over to left guard. That's true, yeah. We still have training results for to bring in, so I don't want to get too worked up yet. Roy Rush, yeah, I mean, like, his strength's just too low. He's not going to start there. And then center, Alex Tuttle. And then J.D. Skillen. By the time J.D. Skillen gets an opportunity to start, this guy's going to be ridiculously good. As a redshirt junior, he'll finally get a chance to start. But that's the offensive line. Looks really, really good. Left tackle may just be the concern. We'll just have to see how training results go. I'd love to see Diego Warrior take a huge jump here. I wish I could remember what. Yeah, I think everything will be good there. Left end, Juan Lima. He's playing until his senior year, so I think he gets up into the 90 overalls. At least I hope he does. Right in here, we have 3 guys here. And then we have 4 at left end. I think everything looks good. Scott Flavors is going to be really, really good already. I mean, he's going to be really good already. Dalvin Kugbila probably starts. Maybe starts over Jamison Awesome potentially. I like the way our defensive tackles are going to be looking. A lot of young guys, but I think a lot of good contributors. Josh Stacy here. I wonder if Don McClain could play any defensive end. -9 speed. Okay. Okay, so we could go. We could go like -5 speed maybe, and then -3 acceleration, something like that. I think Loco said -4 speed, -5 acceleration. Yeah, I think you guys are right. I think that probably makes a little bit more sense. So I would say I agree with you. I wonder if Don McClain, I mean, would it be stupid for me to put him at defensive end here? We got a lot of big guys. I don't think it'd be dumb. McClain, I'm going to put at, I just forgot what defensive end spot. We'll go right in for Don McClain. Or McClean. I'm probably saying the guy's name wrong. So now we have it's even here. So I like that there. All right, linebackers now. Eldra Keener, BJ Garrison, and Lyle Ivy at left outside linebacker. Hopefully we see some progression out of these guys. I think they're all like normal development, though, so we'll just have to see. Cheeseman, Stuckey, Eric Kane, and I think that looks good. And then John Fowler's the one guy that I'm really banking on having a huge breakout of development. Definitely banking on that. Our linebackers are going to be kind of iffy, I think. At corner, you got Catapano, Mike Perkins, and then Eric Hunter is going to have a chance to start right away. He's going to have a really solid chance to start right away for us. Safeties, you got Sosa, Horner, Darby, and McCarthy. I wonder, do we move Sosa to strong safety, though? And allow Darby to play free safety? Or, I don't know. Who tackles better out of these two? Because in my head, I'm sitting here thinking the guy who plays strong safety is going to be put in a position to tackle a little bit more. Maybe we go Darby there. 6 foot, 204. He fits that size that I think you'd really be looking for. Yeah, Steve Ellis kind of gives me the vibe that he would be a better free safety. So I think that's what we're going to do with him. Steve Ellis will go over to free safety and should be in line. We have 5 strong safeties, 4 free safeties. Should be in line to start next year once Sosa graduates or gets drafted. You never know what could happen. And then, yeah, I think that's what we do with position changes. Everything looks good. Our overalls dropped down to 86, though, but that's before training. So I expect it to probably go back up. All right, so let's advance, and we'll see what the training results are looking like. I'm not going to look at anything right here. I want to go to quarterback to the positions here. So BB and Tobin didn't really progress all that much. We talked about this in the last live stream. I'm getting unlucky with the way guys are progressing here. And it's going to be another one of those situations where I don't know who's going to start. Is it going to be Stephen Beebe? Is it going to be Anthony Tobin? Beebe's speed went up. His throw power is higher. His awareness is higher. At this point, his accuracies are nearly the same as Anthony Tobin. His throw in the run is higher. His throw under pressure is lower. That must be the case. That must be the case. Our quarterback coaches just suck. It's up to these guys to do it themselves. I mean, I don't know. That's unfortunate. I was expecting a little bit more out of these guys going. Yeah, I don't know. With Tobin, you have Silver, Option King, and Extender. They both have Magician and an off-platform. With Stephen Beebe, you have Mobile Resistance and Option King. I don't know. You have the natural winning time. I mean, and heck, with these overalls, Miguel Tinker could even compete for a starting spot. It's going to be a strong running team this year, I would imagine. Short passing. I don't know what the decision will be yet. Deshaun Layman, good progression. Xavier Blunt. Daniel Jones barely progresses. I mean, we're seeing CJ Whiting progress higher than a 5-star running back. Gosh, I'm finding myself very unlucky with progression here in this game. I don't know what it is. I'm struggling with it. Fullbacks, Gainwell will be our number 1 fullback again here. Receiver, Zach Qualls up to a 90, so that's sick. We do get huge progression out of him. Devontae Haslam, 84. Tyquan Garrett, an elite development guy. We can look at his elite development, and he like barely progressed. Instead, Alex Lincolnbach, who I'm pretty sure was already maxed out with development, is higher overall than him. I don't know. Just not a really good sign here. One thing that really just jumps off the page right away is 92 catching traffic for Zach Qualls. That's going to play him over anybody else because of his catching. Devontae Haslam's catching so poor that I'm not sure that plays him. I think that allows guys like Zach Truin to probably start, or Taekwon Garrett to start. The spec catch from Zach Qualls is ridiculous as well. Look at the route running. 92, 90, and then 78 deep. I think Zach Qualls is a big slot. I think that's what he plays this year. He's going to be a big slot wide receiver. Zach Truin will definitely start. And then it's really kind of going to be a battle with Taekwon Garrett and maybe a guy like Devontae Haslam, because Haslam's route running is so good, it's going to be hard to keep him off the field. But Zach Qualls is probably going to start in the slot, and then it's going to be Truin and maybe Garrett on the outside. Let's look at tight ends now. Okay, Darrell Ferkser with a huge leap. That's really good to see right there. Huge leap for Darrell Ferkser. Madison Penner even with a huge leap, but he's so slow, I'm not really sure it's going to matter. J.J. Gessner goes up to an 81 overall. So we will drop that speed down probably 5, I would say. And he can be like an 87 speed. What is it? What do his skill cap? So he's capped now at tight end. So I think we go -5 speed, -3 acceleration. I'm fine doing that. Or then again, maybe I don't know. We'll see. But I do agree now. Yeah, dropping him down to 83 speed would have been crazy because Everett Eagles is only 225 pounds and he's 79. Carl Loudermilk is somebody I'm really excited about. Madison Penner, I don't know how much faster he got, if at all. He's already kind of capped on that speed. We'll look at skill caps for these guys like Carl Loudermilk in a second, after we cut guys and stuff like that. Or we probably should do it before we cut guys. Diego Warrior takes the biggest leap at tackle, so that's really good to see. He's probably going to start over Turpin. Strength at 86. It's kind of low. I don't know. Chad Turpin might actually be the guy who gets to start. It's going to be a battle. I think that's definitely going to be a battle there at left tackle. John Winter doesn't progress, or I imagine he would have been well above 90, but he's going to be a 90 overall. Dexter Wall, next in line guy, and he looks like he's going to be really good. Strength at 91 as a pass protector is solid to see, seeing as Roy Rush is only at 82. J.D. Skillen, we just talked about this. I said J.D. Skillen is going to be really good by the time he gets a chance to start. Well, it might be this year because he's now overtaken Alex Tuttle in overall. So is J.D. Skillen your starting center to begin the season? Or is it going to be Alex Tuttle, the guy that we know is pretty good? Or we could do that and we could have Tuttle go to guard, and we could push John Winter out to tackle. We have options. Steve Giraldo, a 92 overall. And then Demarius Ahmad is up to an 86 overall. Looking at defense, Juan Lima, 91. Play Tuttle. So we could go Tuttle at guard. Jeez, I'm spitting everywhere. We could play Tuttle at guard, and we could push John Winter out to tackle. At 6'4", 297, I think that works. I think that works there. And that gives Diego Warrior and Chad Turpin some years to still try and get a little bit better before they finally start. I think that's what we do. I think that's a good move. I wish I would have known that before, but obviously you can never predict these things. But yeah, I think John Winter out to guard would definitely be a good idea. Juan Lima, 91 overall now. Tecklenburg, 89. LaShawn Johnson, 89. And Tyreek Siegler. Looking at Sateki Luvu's 86, Dylan Garrison 85. So seeing some development there. Damian Lampman with pretty good development though. He's up to an 82. 86 strength. Not sure he's going to be an every down player. Scott Flavors and Dalvin Cook-Bila are still like my top choices. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. BJ Garrison does go up to an 82. Yeah, I think that's a good move because we do have Roy Rush. He's not going to play for me. I think he's a good backup option, but 82 strength would get him manhandled by defensive ends. So I really don't know he's going to play for me. He's a good backup option. So that's the only concern for me there. BJ Garrison will probably start at left outside linebacker. Christian Stuckey's up to an 89 overall, 90 overall. Holy cow. The development here from Christian Stuckey is insane. That's true. That is true. The question with Stuckey is how much better did he get as a coverage linebacker? He's not the greatest coverage linebacker, but 98 tackle. Nobody is getting out of this guy's grasp, and he's fast as can be. Okay, so we got something here. Christian Stuckey looks like he's going to be a stud. He's going to be our starting linebacker, and we'll just see how he plays in coverage. If not, we have some guys. BJ Garrison's really, really good in coverage. And then John Fowler did take a little bit of a leap, not the greatest leap, but he's also a good pass coverage linebacker as well. It's honestly not super great, to be honest with you. But he'll probably be out there with BJ Garrison in sub packages. But I think Christian Stuckey deserves a chance to at least see what he can do there first. At corner, Catapano's an 89, Mike Perkins an 83. Monte Khan. So, was he the guy? So, obviously we brought him in last year, but I think he's got a chance to start here. Eric Hunter and Wolfert, probably best option to do with these guys is redshirt them. We have all these slot guys on the roster. Khan maybe plays on the outside here. Like, slot corners are obviously the best group to, best archetype for a corner to sign, for sure. So Matt Gage is wearing number 7, but so is Eric Hunter. So who's wearing number 7? At free safety, Andres Sosa is an 87 now? What in the world happened there? Because wasn't he just an 89, or am I don't know. I might be tripping. I don't know. Antoine Darby really didn't progress all that much going over to strong safety, and I might have screwed him up by putting him over like that. So I don't know. I don't know if he starts at strong safety this year. It might actually be Pat Snow who gets to start at strong safety to begin the year. Manu Villalobos, 72 overall, and then Melvin Tant, a senior punter, at 76 overall. Okay, so Steve Giraldo is our highest overall. J.D. Skillen, the offensive line is going to be incredible. And then Christian Stuckey is going to be a really good linebacker for us. Zach Qualls with excellent progression. Does Tecklenburg maybe start at right end? And being 89 overall, it might be the time that he finally gets the chance to start. Either that, or we just need to have a better rotation of defensive line this year. We got to be better at doing that. Stuckey's strength is an 80. So compared to like our other defensive ends here, it's on the lower side. I wonder let's see Stuckey here and see what he looks like as a pass rusher. Not Eric Kane. Not really too interested in looking at Eric Kane right now. So his pass rushing has got a lot of upside. It can get a lot better. Yeah, Christian Stuckey's going to be a stud, I think. So yeah, Tecklenburg maybe doesn't start, but he rotates in. I think that'd be a really good option. I think overall, what I'm bummed out about the most is our quarterback situation. I was just hoping that one of these guys would, allow themselves to be the clear number one guy on this team. I was hoping that maybe Tobin, or even if it was BB, one of these guys just took a huge leap. That's what my hope was. Well, nobody really took a huge leap. Running back. I mean, I was hoping to see Daniel Jones take a huge leap, and he took practically no leap. He's a star development guy. You got to imagine he's got to be better than this. So, yeah, I'm a little bummed out about that. There is a battle. There was also a battle heading into the beginning of last season, and due to that battle, I felt not confident in anybody on roster, and that's why Jeremiah Tobias took over. There is going to be a battle, though, but Steven Beebe, I think his accuracies are almost as good as Tobin, but they're not nearly as good. But he's got a stronger arm. Tobin has a little bit better accuracies, but he can only get 3 skill bars better, and his throw power is weaker. That's true. They are all freshmen. It's just frustrating because I'd like to have an idea of who I want to be quarterback, and I just have no idea. I don't know. We'll see. We'll just have to see how it plays out. And then, like I said, I mean, seeing the fact that Daniel Jones had really bad progression is pretty unfortunate. CJ Whiting had pretty solid progression here. His carrying is low. He's not really going to have a chance to play. I could try and bring in a 5-star. The problem is Anthony Tobin is a 5-star. He was like the 10th ranked recruit in high school football. And we just didn't see the progression that I wanted to see. And then at receiver, I like what I saw out of Zach Qualls. I like the progression we're seeing from Zach Truin. If we look at the ratings here for Truin, his route running can get better. His hands can get a little bit better as well. He's going to be a deep threat guy. That's what he's going to be for us. But I'm disappointed in what we saw out of Tyquan Garrett. I'm not really... Obviously, he can get a lot better. But he just didn't get better in this offseason. So that's the thing. He just didn't get much better in this offseason. We'll just have to see how the season plays out. Obviously, think about this, though. We went to the college football playoff with the same running backs that are on the roster right now. They have gotten better. Even though very minimal, they have gotten better. And pretty much the same receivers. Other than Tyler Sexton, but Zach Qualls is taking over that spot, and he looks like he's going to be really good at doing it. And then at tight end, Gabe Shudak was an animal, but Darrell Ferkster's overall is higher than what his was, and he's faster. So you can't be too worried about it. So we'll advance to the next week then. I'm not going to touch custom conferences. I do want to go through here at least and make sure that the conference rules stay the same, because you guys all know what happened the year before last and how we got kind of screwed over from being able to make the playoff. Looks like we're good to go there. All right, so encourage transfers. How many guys are we going to have to kick off the team? 5. Okay, that's not bad. 5 is not bad. Like, in this situation, I would like to have Miguel Tinker leave. And that's just me being honest. Is because he's sitting behind 2 guys in Tobin and BB that are really good. And it would make sense that a guy like Miguel Tinker would want to transfer. That would make sense to me. I need to know what you guys think. He transfers away, there's always that chance that he doesn't make it to a roster. Well, we would obviously check on it afterwards. Apparently, they will make it to a roster in week 1. So Miguel Tinker is what he's a guy I might encourage to transfer. Wait till next year. Because I think he would too. I think like Miguel Tinker, you're sitting behind these two guys. You're never going to be as good as them. You only have impact development. It would only make sense for him to go to a different team. We could always wait until next season, but and then you also got like Larry Wooten's right behind you. Yeah, so I think Tinker, we do think about having him transfer. For these running backs here, I'm not going to do anything with these guys. Like, yeah, I mean, Artie Burks would have probably transferred a long time ago. But as a redshirt, as I know seniors, when you encourage them to transfer, they do not end up on a roster at all. I know that for a fact. Where did he grow up? Yeah, he's a California guy, so I don't know. As far as receivers go, like, yeah, maybe a guy like Morgan Burns would transfer out. But I'm going to go through and make sure we don't have any like obvious cut guys. There's going to be a lot of obvious cut tight ends next season, for sure. Offensive line, I really don't think there's anybody that I would encourage to transfer. Defensive tackle, maybe Josh Stacy wouldn't be a bad idea to encourage him. Yeah, 94 strength is actually really good. So you're telling me I can't look at my roster right now? That is so dumb. Dallas McCarthy is the first obvious guy. I think Alex Donahue is the next guy. I think Josh Stacy is another one of these guys. And now with 2 guys remaining here, maybe Roderick Gooch. What a name that is, though. Yeah, these last 2 guys, they're probably next year's obvious cut candidates. I didn't need them. I shouldn't have really even brought them in. But, yeah. And then offensive line, I mean, I like having plenty of depth and guys that can play in the future. I got too many tight ends on roster for sure. You could think about cutting a fullback. Maybe you cut Trayvon Watford. I'm going to go with Morgan Burns. And if all of these guys end up on a roster, I won't be opposed to making these guys leave in the next year's game. Hopefully it's not a problem in the next year's game. God, it felt like we had a lot of receivers, but now we only have 5 guys. We have way too many tight ends, so I do apologize for that. And then, you know what? Miguel Tinker is going to be the last guy. Who else did we cut? I don't even remember. It was a corner, wasn't it? I don't remember. Miguel Tinker's going to be the last guy we cut. Breaks my heart to have to do this to him. But that takes us to 85 guys. We will check on these guys once we hit week 1, which we'll do that here in the live stream, as I've been going for about an hour and a half. So we'll advance to the next week now. All right, let's see what our schedules look like. They want us to play number 1 Oregon. I don't know about that. So Cal at home against Arizona State, home against BYU, then on the road going to South Bend, home against Stanford. They're on the schedule this year. Home against Utah, and then on the road against Boise State, home against Washington State. Man, we have not played on the road against Washington State in a while. God, it's been a while since we've been on the road against Washington State. And we've also been away against Boise State like 3 years in a row. We're on the road against Memphis again. We're home against Utah. Where did we play against Boise State? BYU last year. We were home against Utah. Okay, we were on the road against BYU. Appreciate you putting the cuts in the chat, because I can look back at that as well. And then Notre Dame, we are on the road. We don't play Tulane this season. I thought we played Cal last year. Did we play Cal last year? Yeah, we did. We were at home. God, our schedule's all kind of screwed up. And because of the fact that our schedule's screwed up, let's take on Oregon on the road week 1. Gosh, that's going to be just ugly. And I wanted to play Arkansas, like I said. Oh my, we're going to get smoked against these guys. The defending national champs. I was trying to see what their overall was. And then, you know what? I don't know. And then Burns was the last guy, yeah. Okay, I'm home against Arkansas. I'm not playing on the road against these guys. And then do we play against an FCS team just to bridge the gap, or do we pick at least a real team? Colorado State's ranked 26th in the nation, guys. Should we play against Kennesaw State? How about New Mexico State? I don't think we've ever played New Mexico State. Let's play them at home. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 home games in a row, but 6, 7, 8 home games. We only play 4 road games this year. We open on the road against number 1 Oregon. Then we have an easier game against New Mexico State, home against Arkansas, and then home against Cal. What I would like to do is next Monday, another live stream. And in that live stream, we do this Arkansas game and California game. That's what I would like to do for our live stream. So you guys get to see me play against number 5 Arkansas and Cal, another one of our kind of rivals in the series. You will hopefully not... I'm glad you're not watching me do the live stream against Oregon, because I'll probably be in tears by the end of that one. I don't think that's going to be a close game at all. Here I am doubting my team. I'm doubting my team right now. It's going to be tough, though. And we actually have already played them on the road. Should we go home against Oregon, on the road against Arkansas? Because 2 seasons ago, we played Oregon, and we played them on the road. So we'll go home against Oregon this time. and then we'll go to Fayetteville, take on Arkansas. That's what we'll do. We'll do something like that. Yeah, the scheduling algorithm does suck. It's terrible. And that way we're not playing 5 home games in a row as well. So that's what we'll do. Crazy season coming up. Crazy, crazy season. Let's look at the prospects that are interested. All right. Okay, Derek Haslam from Hawaii is the #1 recruit. All right. So first thing I want to do is I want to go to 5-star prospects that are interested. There you have 4 of them. So you have athlete Ruben Carapates. You have athlete Rob Hoffman. Looks like he could play tight end. He might be ridiculous. You have guard Cordell Beatty, but with that pass protector, I just had to see what the strength looks like. And then Jaquez Tiffin is the last guy here. I don't need any more tight ends, so I really need to chill on the tight ends here. But it would be really cool to get a guy like Frederick Garrett. I'm not even lying. It would be really cool. Other than that, we can add a couple of more. I think Derek Haslam at safety. How could you not want to go after the #1 player? Tyler Cushing at defensive tackle. Coco Maples. Really cool name. Cornell Davis. Derek Brackenridge. That's true. That is true. Hayden Rivas is a huge defensive end. We'll go Jamie Slate. Wouldn't be bad to look at. So isn't Brian Amador is also a huge defensive end. Kevin Good. I wonder how good he is. And there's your 5 stars there. Tyler Cushing I want to look at as well. So we'll do that right there. Let's go to 4-star guys, and then I'm going to imagine we got a lot of guys interested. Kevin Franco. A lot of tight ends again. Steve B. Here's the quarterback that we could potentially bring in this year. Dallas Finley from Arizona. So we do have a quarterback added to the board. So we can go look at the board here with 30 guys added. We have 1 quarterback in Dallas Finley. We have a couple of running backs. They're both athletes. And one of them's a 5-star, and that's Ruben Carapates. I'm definitely screwing that name up. Plenty of receivers to go around, which I think is a good thing. We have 4 tight ends, 2 tackles, 2 guards, 2 centers, 1 defensive end, and that's Hayden Rivas. 4 D tackles, but a lot of speed rushers, so we'll just have to see what their strength is looking like. And then a couple of outside linebackers, no middle linebackers, 1 corner and Ricky Blanco, a couple of safeties, no strong safeties, which we have a couple of freshmen. Plus, these guys can move around pretty much at will. I think if there's anything that I want to look at more is some defensive ends and a middle linebacker potentially. Here's Anthony Biggs. Charles Katula. want a speed rusher if I can find one. Actually, that's not a archetype here, huh? How about some middle linebackers? Go Jason Apple. Do something like that. So 5 targets added to the board. And we can start scouting these guys. Ruben Carapates is the one guy who I think could be really good. Please let him be fast. I just want a fast running back. And he's slow. 88 speed is not what I'm looking for. Here's Rob Hoffman, probably a tight end. His catching is really good. The acceleration, 84, seems solid to me. We'll offer him a scholarship. He may be like the only tight end that we go after. Here's Cordell Beatty. We'll have to see what his strength is. 83. Yeah, that's really slow. But he's an athlete, so maybe he's a safety. Maybe he's not even a running back. So maybe he fares better as a safety. So that's always a chance. I'm going to hold off on Beatty for a second. Here's Tiffin, 80 deep route running. I'm looking for speed here. 96 speed. The catching's 87. He's the #1 receiver in the class. I'm going to offer him. Here's Derek Haslam, the #1 player from Hawaii. Please be fast. 89. And he's not a gem either. I mean, obviously we're going to go after him. Hayden Rivas, this is this 309-pound power rusher with 81 speed is ridiculous. I mean, 309 pounds to be able to move like that. Yeah, that's a guy I want on my team. Here's Jamie Slate. He's a bust. We'll remove him. Miguel Baca. Okay, real quick. Let's see. Team needs. We have 21 seniors. There's obviously the chance that some juniors could be leaving as well. Michael Baca now. 88 strength. I'll offer him. Tyler Cushing, the #2 player. We'll offer him as well. James Crouch. He looks really good. Let's hold off on these tight ends for a second. Montel Bow. 83 speed. Okay. Hold off on them. I have no idea how to say this guy's name. That's better. He's a gem and he's got 86 strength. So that's better. It can always get better. Here's Joaquin Joy, a deep threat receiver, 93 speed. If we're already going after one, I don't think Joy's who I'm going to go after here. These guys need to have really good strength. 89 for a speed rushing defensive tackle is actually really good. And he's a gem, so I just wanted to clarify that. Tony Cunningham, 94 speed. Okay, here's Larry Pinion. He's an elusive back. He's an athlete as well. And he's a gem. He's the guy I'm going after. Larry Pinion's who I'm going after. 94 speed is really good. Jameel Bradbury could take over that Zach Qualls role in the future. We'll offer him a scholarship. Ricky Blanco now. I'm looking for more speed at corner. 73 man coverage is really good, seeing as how he's a zone archetype corner. I don't think Ricky Blanco would be that bad. The game doesn't agree with me, but Stephen B. So we finish his profile up. Yeah. I guess with Blanco, we'll remove him. Zach Macklin is a athlete. Where's his speed at? 95 speed is really good. He's a gem, so the hope would be that he develops as a pass catcher because his catching right now is really low. I think I've looked at enough defensive tackles here. Joshua Toure. Yeah, not really liking that. Here's Dallas Finley, the quarterback here of this recruiting class. For now, just so we have one that we're offering to, we'll add him. I think I've looked at enough receivers. Let's look at some of these pass rushers now. 78 strength. Okay, Anthony Biggs, a nice finesse rusher. There's Charles Katula now. 81 speed, 86 finesse. We'll offer him as well, I guess. I think Garrison Byam looks really good. I'm going to take Carapates off of our board here. Beatty, I'm going to take and go ahead and leave him off the board. So we've offered to 17 guys. I think corner was what I wanted to look at real quick. You would think a game on a, next gen system or current gen, I guess at this point, system now, made in 2024, the menus would be a little bit quicker than the way they are. I know I said the same thing in the last live stream. This is like, it's exciting because you get to see who the potential new players of this, the team's future is, but it can be boring doing this part right here. So we have a middle linebacker, a couple of pass rushers, a quarterback, another linebacker. You have a couple of receivers here, a running back, defensive tackles, some offensive line, another pass rusher, some secondary help. So what I'm thinking here is I'm thinking quarterback and corner. So let's see the quarterbacks that we could potentially go after. There's only one 5-star, and that's George Hunt. Carl Labato from Hawaii, some way we could look at. Let's go look at corners. I'm looking for more speed at corner as well. And I think that we've found out that slot is the best archetype. Troy Cooks, Richard Boyce. Zach Boone. It'd be nice to be able to try and bring in like 2 corners in this class. Carl Labato has 94 throw power. And he's a gem. So there you go. And he's got silver field general. We're going to go ahead and offer him as well. So 2 quarterbacks that we're currently going to be offering to. We have a lot more points to spend now than we did when we first started this series. So the ability to go after more guys. The board will eventually shape itself out as the season goes on, obviously. Gosh, it takes so long to get down the board here. Troy Cooks. Looking for speed. I want speed. 90 speed. Isn't terrible. It's not terrible. But I'm looking for faster. 93 is better. Okay. Speed. Looking for the speed. 91. Moses Neal now. 90 speed. I'm just waiting to see if one of these guys could be a gem. And then Zach Boone's the last guy we'll look at here. All right. Richard Boyce will offer a scholarship to. And then Troy Cooks. I like Troy Cook's size. 6'1", 204. I mean, it feels like somebody would play a good physical slot. Now it's going quick for me. Maybe this guy got to tap the D-pad. So 20 guys. We've offered 20 scholarships then. We're out of hours. So we're going to go ahead and exit recruiting. I'm going to advance to the next week. And before we get there, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And then we'll look at skill caps on these new guys. And then we'll see if we'll do recruiting real quick. And then we'll see if guys like Miguel Tinker and these guys all made it to a team. All right, I'm going to look to see if these guys made it on a roster first. That's what I'll go and look at first. All right, so we're looking for Tinker. If I miss it, let me know in the comments. I'm going to guess he's going to probably go to a West Coast. Nope, he's going to Army. Okay. I mean, at least he's found his way onto a roster. Maybe he thought, I'm off to doing better, bigger and better things. It's not like Army has a bunch of fast quarterbacks. So Army is where Tinker goes. And then McCarthy is a free safety. I didn't add him. I didn't write him down. So thank you for putting that, Dustin. So we're looking for McCarthy. Yeah, man, respect. My hat goes off to him. I thought that was Donahue. Dallas McCarthy's going to Buffalo. So shout out to Mr. Hurricane, giving him one of my players here. He may have a chance to play there at some point. Probably not. They got a lot of juniors. All right, next up is strong safety, Alex Donahue. Yeah, if I ever do a Call of Duty series, yeah, Miguel Tinker is the guy. He is the guy. I'd like to play against Army in the future then. Maybe next season, maybe he could be potentially starting. Let's see, where did Donahue go? And Alex Donahue is joining him at Army. So Alex Donahue and Miguel Tinker both going to Army. Pretty cool to see. They must have been roommates or something. They were like, screw it, let's both go. I'm going to go to defensive tackle real quick because I got a feeling Josh Stacy went there, and he did. Josh Stacy goes to Army. What in the world is going on? I've been told that the way it goes when you cut these guys, they go to the first available team in alphabetical order. It would make sense that a team like Army struggles to recruit, and that's why they bring in guys, so many of these guys. But at least they're on a team. At least they're on a team. We are running like a militaristic, that's a word, a military-like football team, and maybe these guys are like, I just want to go do the real thing. And let's see, Morgan Burns. Did he go there too? He did not. Okay, so we have to find where Morgan Burns went. Morgan Burns went to Baylor. Okay. He may have a chance to start pretty soon in his career. Yeah, because it's just, Loco, it's the same thing with the conference standings. If there's a tiebreaker in conference standings, it goes off of what team comes first in alphabetical order. It's the dumbest thing. That's true. And then Justin says that he had a guy go to UCF, so maybe it is random, but I mean, I don't know. At least Morgan Burns is going to Baylor, where at least they're probably going to throw the ball around a little bit, and then go to Army, where he's going to be in a system that runs the football. But 3 guys going to Army with Tinker, Donahue, and Stacy, that's pretty cool to see. Morgan Burns going to Baylor. And then I guess before we forget, we'll look at skill caps here, but before we do anything, I'll go to JJ Gessner here and go ahead and edit him. Because I can't have a guy being 6'5", 203 at tight end. That's just not something that I'm going to do. Okay, I don't know why I'm at. Yeah, I need to go ratings. Okay. I don't know why I'm going to gear. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll go 1, 2, 3. And that's what we'll come up with JJ Gessner. I think that's fair. Yeah, we could have played Georgia, and I think that would have been interesting. But I have a feeling we're going to see them again at some point in the series. I have a feeling we're going to play them in the college football playoffs again. All right, so JJ Gessner is 6'5", 232, even though I thought I put 233. It is what it is. I want to look at skill caps now, and we will start with Larry Wooten. He was a 4-star quarterback. He's wearing number 11. His accuracies look like they can get a lot better. His throw power is good at a 93 already. He can get a lot more elusive and a lot speedier. Larry Wooten looks like he's pretty good. And at a 77 overall, it's not like he's behind these guys at all. BB says he's an 83 is what it says for BB. And an 82 for Tobin. Okay. Let's see Dominic Drugsma. Yeah, just hopefully you don't allow kickoff returns for a touchdown and all kind of extra stuff like that. Just have contain on those kickoffs. Make sure your linebackers catch interceptions. I think you'll be fine. All right, so Dominic Droogsma is a 73 overall. His throw power can get better. His accuracies are kind of capped, but he's a speedy guy. So if we ever wanted to do something with him at, as a scrambler, we could do something. But we have a lot of young quarterbacks. You always sim kickoff and kicking. For kicking to be, I can understand kicking, simulating it, because it makes it more on the players' ratings and you can see more missed field goals. Because depending on how good you get at the game, you can make every kick. Nothing really to talk about here at running backs. I know that Daniel Jones didn't progress all that much, but you're still going to see a heavy dose of him. You're still going to see a heavy dose of Deshaun Layman and Xavier Blunt as well. We're still waiting for that one guy to join this program that just kind of takes over and just begins dominating. At wide receiver, nothing really to talk about other than these new guys here. DeMarco Pitts is an elite development route runner. I'm definitely changing his gear. His route running is going to become incredible. His hands will become really good. If he progresses the way we hope he can. If he progresses. Sorry. See, that happens to me when I'm doing my commentary. So if you guys are watching it's like, why did he say he had a hiccup? It happens to me. It happens. DeMarco Pitts, I think, could be really good if he develops the way he should. Yeah, he's a slot guy for sure. Especially at 6 foot, 164, he's a slot guy. And route runners do develop pretty well in this game. Devontae Haslam was somebody who's a route runner, and he is impact development, and he developed really well. So I do have faith that we're going to see Pitts develop. He's going to be the slot guy after Zach Qualls moves on, I would imagine. Fatu Bayless is also a slot guy, potential slot guy. And his ratings, I don't know. I think his route running is definitely capped. So I'm not as excited for Bayless the same way that I am for DeMarco Pitts. Ferkshire is going to be incredible this year. I'm super excited to play with this guy. Super excited. Madison Penner made some really good improvements here. We could look at Paul Bighill. Paul Bighill doesn't matter. He's not going to play. He's a senior. You could look at Von Dempke, or Dempk, however you would say it here. Impact development, kind of capped out on what you're going to see out of him. And that's why I've been recruiting blocking tight ends, is because these guys just don't develop if they're possession or vertical threat. Obviously, we were able to get Gabe Shudak to have a crazy season. Yeah, 6 foot. Freaking, but yeah, possession and vertical threats. We saw Gabe Shudak develop into a monster, but his overall was still low. Carl Loudermilk, I'm hoping I can see he could freely move up in speed. We'll see. He's not going to get faster. He is going to become a better blocker. His catching should go up. His route running should as well. I hate that he's not going to get faster, though. But 79 speed, 77 acceleration. That's 79 speed I don't think is terrible. I really don't think 79 speed is terrible. I really would just have to see what the speed of Gabe Shudak was, because I don't feel like Shudak's speed was it was like an 86, I do believe. I don't know. I think there's a future with Loudermilk as our number 1 tight end. Jaquez Granger. He's star development, and he's got really good caps. The power, his strength's not going to get much higher, but he's going to become an excellent run blocker. A little bit limited on pass blocking. Jaquez Granger should be a beast. John Winter, we already know about him. Here's Eric Bars from Salt Lake City. He's impact development. His run block is going to get a lot better. His pass block. The offensive line, they develop really well in this game. So I'm not really worried about that. Like Nicholas Blau here, impact development. Yeah, he's probably going to be an 80-something overall by the time he graduates. He has a chance to get stronger. He's going to be a really good pass blocker. Yeah, so, these guys develop, really, really well in this game. At defensive end, we do have Don McLean, or McLean, however you would say his last name. He's impact development. He's going to become a lot better of a finesse rusher. He's going to be capped on power moves probably after one upgrade he will be. But I think that his finesse move, I'm spitting again, his finesse move is going to go up plenty, and he's going to get a lot faster as well. 74 speed right now is slow, but he is going to get better. A.J. Berry, impact development. Maybe has a chance to be turned into something. Maybe. Dalvin Kugbila, I want to look at first here. He's going to be an excellent run stopper. Yeah, I mean, we struck gold here with a guy like Dalvin Kugbila. Scott Flavors now. We legitimately struck gold with this guy. Yeah. He's capped on power already, but I mean, it's already in such a good spot. This guy's going to be really good. And you already know I'm giving him number 55 because he's going to be our Mason Graham. Alex Kamea, freshman, impact development. He looks like he could be really good in the future as well. He was capped on his power rushing, though, so a little unfortunate there. I'm not really worried about these guys. Gary Russo, the first guy. He's normal development. Yeah, I mean, he's not really going to ever turn into something really great for us. Same thing, Moses Hester, his impact, not really going to be super great for us. BJ Garrison, I'm glad that he was able to progress. Christian Stuckey and Eric Kane. I'm curious about Rudy Pele. Or Pele. I would love to see if he could turn into a pass rusher potentially. And that might be the move for him. Isaac Rivas. Not too bad. I mean, he's got a lot of room to grow. I can't believe how good Monte Khan developed here. And then Eric Hunter, I'm really excited about. Although he's a zone. Man, he looks like he could be really good. His zone's going to go up. His man's going to go up. Yeah, I'm excited about this. I think Eric Hunter could be really, really good. Brother of Travis Hunter. No, I'm just kidding. Max Wolford also is not that bad. Star development. And he looks like he's going to be really good. Yeah, I mean, Max Wolford looks really good. So I think we struck gold. We only brought in 2 corners. We have a transfer here, Matt Soliday. I'm not even going to waste my time looking at that. We only got 2 corners out of high school, but I think we struck gold in these guys. They look like they're going to be really, really good. Steve Ellis, we'll figure out what the ultimate plan is with him. Obviously, I'm going to make his jersey not look like that. Like, don't be a tool showing off your 6-pack and stuff. But I think he's going to be really good. I mean, we got a star here with Steve Ellis. If you guys watch Minnesota at all, I'm a Michigan fan, but if you watch Minnesota at all and you see Coy Parrish, how they kind of use him, that's kind of how I want to use Steve Ellis. Maybe we see him on offense a little bit. Maybe. Lorenzo Grubb kind of reminds me of Cordell Lawson a bit. Cordell Lawson, I think, was impact development maybe. But Lorenzo Grubb can get a lot better. So I think that there is a future with him as a potential starter. Although I would have liked Antoine Darby to see a lot more progression than we saw out of him. But it's all right. It will come with time. All right, well, that's the roster. That's the skill caps there. We could try and get into some practice here in a second. We just made sure that all these guys were where we needed them to be. We could look at what the top 25 is looking like here early. How many Pac-12 teams? Georgia will start the season as the number 2 team. Arizona will be a top 25 team. Maryland, after a really bad season, I would say, to their standard, they're in the top 25. UMass is at 22. Wait, what did I say? about the SEC. Sometimes I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes I oh, you said like put Steve Ellis on offense and stuff. Oh, showing. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean that's SEC stuff. You know, showing off the six pack. Maybe we keep him like that. You know, maybe Steve Ellis maybe he wants to show off that six pack. Not Steve Geraldo. It's the wrong Steve. Yeah, maybe Steve Ellis maybe wants to show off that six pack. Yeah, I don't know. Not my style. All right, we'll get back into recruiting here. We'll start. Rob Hoffman is the number one guy right now on the board. Tiffin, I'm definitely going to go ahead and just right off the bat, I'm going 75 on him. Haslam, I think the same. And only 800 points kind of seems a little low, I feel like. What I should do is I should just go through here real quick and find the guys who already have us high on the board. James Crouch. We'll go ahead and put 75 on him as well. Just to start, we'll see how it ends up looking. Here's Tupa. So we're going after some offensive linemen again, you know, just continuing to build up that O-line. Yeah, I mean, I remember like Ezekiel Elliott did it when he played for Ohio State, which I'm not a fan of Ohio State. So here's Manny B. I think I liked his strength at 89. I was pretty impressed with that strength. We're going to reward the guys that are interested in us with attention. That's the way we're going to go about business here, is if they're, you know, acting like they're interested, like Larry Pinion, for example. He may be the guy that we've been waiting for to, you know, be a dominant running back. But we're going to repay him because he's showing interest. How about Jameel Bradbury now? This right here is your potential Zach Qualls replacement. You got Zach Macklin, Steve Meyer here. I think with Macklin, I mean, obviously, since he's showing that interest, we'll show him some love, but, you know, we'll figure it out. Dallas Finley is showing love. I'm wondering, should I maybe take some points off of these guys since they're already interested? We can take maybe 25 off of some of these. If we have to, you know, drop out of some battles early, we can do that. One thing I don't want to mess up on is I need to make sure I'm bringing these guys in on visits. I screwed up on that, and it cost us in a couple of these battles last year. Can't allow that to happen. Manny B. Yeah, we'll just go to 50. That's how we'll start out with a lot of these. We'll start out at 50. Rob Hoffman. I don't know why I didn't put 50 on him already, but we'll go ahead and do that. We'll go 50 on these corners. And as far as these defensive linemen, we got Anthony Biggs here. And then we also, I thought we had another guy. Let's go Tyler Cushing. We'll go 50 on here. So should we do something like that? We go 50 on all these guys. And then Hayden Rivas, Miguel Baca, Charles Catula, and Garrison Byam. We're going to drop out of those battles here. So we have 2 quarterbacks we're going after, a running back. We're going after 3 receivers, a tight end and Rob Hoffman. We're going after a tackle and a guard. No center at the moment. We're going after 1 defensive end and Anthony Biggs. 2 defensive tackles here. An outside linebacker, no middle linebacker, 2 corners, a safety, and no strong safety. But we are going after 3 athletes here. Delonte Dugans, we didn't actually end up offering to, but he does have some interest in us. That's what we'll do. We'll go after 16 guys. We'll advance. We'll see where we're really sitting. But that's what we'll do. I don't want to spend too much time. We have 21 seniors, so we'll have 21 seniors, and then I would imagine there could be a couple of extra guys to declare early. So we'll just go after those 16, and we'll see what it looks like once we hit week 1. Anybody lock us out that we... I'm not looking forward to this game right here. I'm not. I'm telling you right now. All right, so Tiffin has us number 1. You know, good start to that battle. James Crouch, really good start. Vi Tupa. Larry Pinion, it looks like we're going to battle out with Oregon. That's what it's looking like is going to happen. Jameel Bradbury. Steve Meyer. Manny B. Okay. Dallas Finley looks like we're also going to be battling it out with Oregon. Derek Haslam, Stanford's in first place for him right now. I'm almost wondering just right off the bat if it's probably not a good idea to go after Haslam. If we're just wasting our time potentially. Carl Labato we're in first place for right now, and with Dallas Finley, you're going to be going up against Oregon. So it's almost like, do we just call it quits there? Troy Cooks and Richard Boyce, and then Tyler Cushing. So we did see Catula lock us out and Byam. Hayden Rivas and Miguel Baca are the other guys who could try and block us or lock us out here early. Yeah, I mean, Rivas, we're not going to be able to get in on that battle. He's about to hit his top 8. Baca, it might be worth trying to get in there. I don't want to end up not having any receivers. Bradbury, we're in first place for, and then you also had Zach Macklin. Let's go Bradbury. We'll adjust that so that we have like 25 points left. So that's what we'll do. We have 17 guys here we're going after. A lot of these guys, you know, yeah, like Troy Rowe, we'll take him off there. This is how recruiting is going so far. Obviously, you guys will get an update And as these battles go on with a team like Oregon already making a push for a guy like Larry Pinion, maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to look at this battle right here with Carl Lobato and take some points off or something. Like with Lobato, you could go 45. It's always an option. Or 40, I think, is what you could do. Yeah, 40. That way you can go 60 for Pinion, because we need a running back in this class regardless. Pinion's the guy that I like, but Oregon's making a push, and it doesn't look pretty for us right now. So we'll do something like that. We spent all our hours. We're going after Tiffin, Crouch, Tupa, Pinion, Bradbury. Derek Haslam we're still going after. I mean, we made a jump, so I'm not going to back out of that battle yet. But we'll just have to see how it plays out. 17 guys. We're not going to win every single one of these, but we need to be smarter with our hours this season. Last year, I just kind of assumed that recruiting had just gotten easy all of a sudden. And so I didn't offer, I didn't bring guys in on visits when I should have. And I waited until it was too late. And we missed out on a lot of guys. Like, for example, we're going to go ahead and exit recruiting here. I want to go to Alabama because I want to show you this corner that we missed out on. I wanted this guy. And I just screwed up because I just took too long to finally bring him in on a visit. And he'd probably be a starter for us this year. Zach Polk looks incredible. Only impact development, but you tell me if that looks like an issue for this guy. I would have loved to have had him on the roster, but I just screwed up and I waited too long to bring him in on a visit. Let's go to depth chart real quick. We'll spend like maybe 10 or 15 minutes screwing around. Let's bring... For receivers, we'll go Qualls, Truin, and Garrett. I think I want Garrett there. For tight ends, I do want to look at Loudermilk. But obviously at defense, on defense, I want to look at these new guys. I want to look at Scott Flavors and Dalvin Kugbila for sure. And then I want wherever BJ Garrison is. He's already starting at right outside linebacker. I hate how the game does that. And then that would mean that these defensive line... Nope, that actually is in the right spot, so that's good. And then corners. Katapanu. I want Khan to be there. I want Perkins in the slot. So custom 3 is what I'm working on now for my playbook. All right. Let's go random play here. I think Darrell Ferkser is really in line for a big season. I don't know who's going to start at quarterback, though. Good catch there from Ferkser. Some new formations we're going to show off this year. I got rid of pretty much all of my single back sets. I still would like to change that because I want... That's a bad play by me. But I do want to run a little bit of single back, especially with the tight ends that we have. So I will go through there and re-add some single back. Maybe 2, maybe 3 formations in total. Right here's the play that we saw Jeremiah Tobias complete in that game against Georgia. Here's the I formation now. Terrible blocking there. We got to be ready to go for Oregon. We got to be ready to go. It's going to be a challenge. And I got a lot more formations now where Ferkser will have the ability to actually, you know, go out wide as kind of a fourth receiver. His route running is not the greatest, but I think that allows us to try something new. Christian Stuckey, what a play. This guy's going to be a beast. There's Zach Truin. He's that speedy deep threat guy. There's CJ Whiting in the game as a third down back. He's slow. He's pretty freaking slow, but CJ Whiting, not bad. Pistol, still plenty of pistol. I did refine it a little bit. Playbook's not going to be like that much changed, really. Here's a play action. Loudermilk with the drop. Christian Stuckey is a beast. Just don't let him be out there in pass coverage, and I think he's going to be unstoppable. Good downfield blocking and an excellent run by Deshaun Layman. Really good. Here's a little tight end screen action. We ran these a lot with Gabe Shudak. Ferkser faster than Shudak. So I think he could play as a deep threat tight end as well. Here's a new formation that I'm showing here. No, this is bunch. What am I talking about? It's a new play out of bunch, though. Good play there. Truin. Touchdown, Zach Truin. Let's check this out route to Tyquan Garrett. Catapano is going to be an animal out there on the edge. Mike Perkins out of the slot I'm really excited about as Layman takes it. And there's Zach Qualls. That is the man that will lead this offense in receiving if I had to guess. But then again, I don't think any of us really thought that we would see a Gabe Shudak breakout the way we did last year. So the same thing could obviously happen with Ferkser. Here's a new formation that I have. Let's see how this play right here works out. Fake the pitch. Ferkser's wide open. Wasn't the greatest throw in the world. Let's see. Let's see what Anthony Tobin can do now. And let's get Daniel Jones out there at running back. Here's a new formation as well. You see Ferkser split out there. We'll see how these formations look. So here's Anthony Tobin and Daniel Jones, and he's taken down. And that is Scott Flavors. So I said I wanted to see him. That's Scott Flavors there with the excellent penetration pause. Yeah, I mean, Darrell Ferkser, he's turned into a decent blocker, but he was literally no match. Scott Flavors just said, "Get off me." Loudermilk can't come down with it. I was hoping Daniel Jones would get, a better breakout opportunity. I mean, I gave him the thumbnail and everything, and I just don't. That's an excellent play by Pat Snow right there. Here's Zach Truin. He's going to be a good downfield threat for us, I think. As far as skill caps go, Tobin and BB are pretty similar as far as overall. And so, but Anthony Tobin has better skill caps. So they're overall so close right now, but is it going to be that close here in 2 years when they're both redshirt juniors? I think realistically, I think Tobin might have the best shot at being a long-term starter. And this season is going to factor in, next offseason is going to factor in a lot on who's the starting quarterback of this team moving forward. There's always a chance that Tobin wins the battle, and then BB, we have him transfer next season. There's always a chance that could happen. As Daniel Jones with an excellent angle, but Andres Sosa is starting safety with a good play. Let's try the comeback route here. Now let's try to just throw that out to Ferkser. Nice catch. What the heck kind of play was that? They want us to try it again. It wouldn't let me pitch it. I tried to. I got a lot of read option in the playbook now. We have two pretty speedy quarterbacks. Tobin is the speedier of the bunch. And one thing I will say is, like, with Stephen Beebe, for example, he is bigger. He's 6'4", 203. Anthony Tobin, 6'1", 193. And I don't know. I just haven't really decided what I want to do there. I want to look at Larry Wooten real quick, though. We'll look at Xavier Blunt. Mike Perkins, I think Mike Perkins is deserving of a number change from 25 to something a little cooler. He's just been such a good player for us, I feel like. And let me know in the comments, let me know now or later, if you guys think that there are any players that you want a number changed with or anything like that. So I'm down to do it. Here's Xavier Blunt. Xavier Blunt and Deshaun Layman were pretty even as far as their stats went this past season. As Larry Wooten throws this one complete to Truin. Here we go. Ready, go. Yep, Wooten's a little ways away, I think. Here's Xavier Blunt. Yeah, I'm still just waiting for that game changer at running back. Especially we're a team that likes to run the football. And we just I don't feel like we have a game changer there yet. So we're still waiting on that. Floater. Nice pass to Qualls. As we see the young buck, Larry Wooten. We'll see how much read option I run this year. I have added it to the playbook a lot more, but I just don't trust it. Wooten's not the guy to run it with, obviously. What is this play right here? All right. I like that play. I want to complete one to Loudermilk here. He's got a ways to go, and I don't know if he's actually going to ever develop into that tight end that we're looking for. It is promising to see, though, that excellent job by Zach Qualls. He's going to be so good. But it is promising to see Darrell Ferkser kind of break out the way he has here, because my worry was like these vertical threat and possession tight ends never really develop. Well, Darrell Ferkser has actually done a pretty good job at developing. He's up to, like, what I say, is he an 86 overall, I think, or something? Like, that's draftable. That's certainly draftable. Zach Truin, I think, is going to have a really good year as well. Tyquan Garrett should have a really good year. Let's go one more play here. I like this new formation. Let's see if it works. I think it's supposed to be a rollout. Yeah, I screwed that up. Let's at least end it on a completion. So we'll go one run here. Xavier Blunt. And then we'll end it on a completion. Ah, I hit the wrong button. The worst is when I'm doing that, recording the gameplay for like a Dynasty video, obviously. And I hit the wrong button. It just makes you feel so stupid. There you go. Loudermilk with the catch inside the 5. And that's how we're going to end this one off. I'm excited for year 7. I can't lie to you, though. Our schedule is intimidating. It is definitely intimidating. We open a season against Oregon in what is the game of the week. Then we have an easier game, and then we got to go on the road to Fayetteville, Arkansas to take on the Razorbacks in what should be a ground and pound battle. That will be in a live stream next Monday. If not next Monday, it'll be next Tuesday, but it's going to be next Monday or Tuesday. Live stream. We'll take on Arkansas. If we have time, we'll take on Cal as well. If we have the time to be able to do it, then we'll play this game as well. Arizona State and BYU, and then on the road against Notre Dame, who should be really solid. Stanford again, back on the schedule finally. And then Utah, Boise State, Washington State, and Memphis ends the season. I'm most worried about this beginning 4-game stretch. Cal's going to give us problems because they always do. And then Arkansas and Oregon, you know what you're getting into there. I'll leave you with Oregon's roster real quick. Yeah, Notre Dame won their first game, it looks like. Oregon has Zach Walker, who's really good. They got John Carver. And then at receiver, Matt Burrow. Remember, he went off in that game, in the national championship game. They have a good tight end themselves, a possession guy. So possession tight ends do look like they develop here. So don't these vertical threat guys, it appears. Yeah, they look really, really good. Good tackle there. And then defensive line, Jermaine Cotton and Glenn Turner look, their defensive line, their defense. Holy crap, Kyle Vaughn looks good. If you remember Tyree Radigan, we tried to recruit him. What in the world am I looking at? Kyle Vaughn. There's Sean Dawsey. Too bad we didn't get him, because he would have been a really great addition to have. You guys, you know, you guys made me schedule them. So, hey, but if we want to make a national championship run, we have to beat teams like this at some point. Kyle Vaughn is one of the best 3 players in this game. So, I mean, it is what it is. If we want to win a national championship, we have to beat teams like this. Receiving backs develop pretty well in this game, it looks like. I'm going to try my hardest to win this game. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how we're going to beat them. We're not going to be able to run, but we're at home. We have that going for us. We're at home. The hope is we can take the crowd out of it. If we were on the road and we have to go against the crowd and the team, yeah, I mean, I'm going to try my hardest to win this game. With a new playbook, it's going to be hard because I'm going to be getting used to it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's I'm going to end this off. Been almost 3 hours, 2 hours, 45 minutes, how long we've been going. So I'm going to end it. You can expect this game against Oregon to probably drop on Thursday. I would say Thursday is probably when you're going to see it. Thursday, and then a Saturday is going to be the game against New Mexico State, and then that Monday live stream. So Thursday, you can expect the game against Oregon. Hopefully I'll win it. You guys will find out then. That's going to do it for this live stream, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope you guys join me for Season 7 of the Utah State Dynasty. You guys have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time.